Oh, good afternoon and good day. Chief here for Chief Tells Tales. I watched a video the other day. Can't remember what exactly it was, but it reminded me of a story. So I got a story to tell while I was stationed in Berlin. I was CQ because I think I was I was a specialist at the time, so it was one of the rare CQ duties that I actually pulled. I think I only did it like 2 times, 3 times, and I never pulled it as a sergeant. So as the specialist of charge of quarters for CQ duty, you're generally the one that runs around and picks up, as I'll later learn when I get to Fort Riley, hop in your Humvee, go down and deliver documents, pick up documents, and other stuff where you have to travel. Well, since we didn't have any vehicles in Berlin, I was just there to keep the sergeant awake. And we didn't have an officer on duty like I would have everywhere else I've been. So, but the sergeant, he's the one that had to walk around. He had to check all the arms rooms and all the offices throughout the 2 buildings we had, because we had basements, so he had to go downstairs and make sure nobody opened up the arms room, opened up the offices where we were sitting, and stuff like that. So he had a tour of duty, so to speak, of checking doors, because anybody that was supposed to come open a door was supposed to at least inform us, like, hey, I'm going to be down here in my office. So yeah, so I'm sitting at the desk. The sergeant is doing his runs, and don't remember what kind of a night it is, but the Andrews Concern, as it's called, where we stayed at, outside our front gate, we had a doner kebab shop, small restaurant, and we had what I would call a beer hall, not really a bar, because inside this beer hall was just looked like the inside of a Oktoberfest tent. He had picnic tables, like 2 lines of picnic tables, and I think he had a minor bar and jukebox playing. So you went there just to go buy beer and talk at the picnic tables. And the better clubs, of course, were downtown Berlin and everywhere else. So I'm sitting at the desk, I don't know, watching TV, doing something. Excuse me. And in walks Sergeant K. We'll call her Sergeant K. Sergeant K is a sergeant. She is a medium length, blonde hair, might have been blue-eyed if I remember correctly, female soldier. Not bad looking, kind of cute. And she looks at me, she goes, "Are you prepared to copy?" So, I'm looking up at the sergeant, and I'm like, "Copy what?" She goes, "I had an incident." I'm going, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay, we'll log this." She goes, "I have an incident that the commander needs to know about." So I'm like, "Okay, so tell me your story, and I'll try to abbreviate it as much as I can. I mean, I don't need to write every word that you say verbatim." Basically, she was outside the front gate in that beer hall. She was with another female, and she said they were having a conversation, and a couple of males approached them, which she assumed were infantry, because we also had an infantry concern elsewhere, so they would come over in our area to try to hit on the military intelligence women, because they had hardly any females over there. Maybe a company clerk or 2. Don't really know. So she said, we started talking to them, I'm like, oh, okay, so I'll write this down. Okay, you and got the other name. I can't remember what the other sergeant's name was. And she said we were drinking, they were drinking, and we were talking across the table, across the bench. You know, this is, like I said, it's a picnic table, or the wooden picnic tables that, you know, got the benches and the table. So it's not like he can scoot his bar stool over, not unless he gets on her side, because there were no bar stools, or sit on this bench next to her. And I said, okay, what happened? She goes, well, we were busy talking, and I guess he was drinking prior to coming in there already, she said, and he thought that he was... She just kind of looked at me. She goes, I really don't know how to say this. And I'm like, oh, what did he do? Well, I guess his confidence was up. And he thought that he and I were... And I'm like, we're what? And, well, he thought that I wanted to kiss him. Put it like that. Because, you know, we're trying to write this report, you know, but we don't want to sit there and say... something fictitious. But I guess he, from what I can remember, it's been so long ago, she said basically he stood up, leaned across the table, and in the act of trying to kiss her, she thought, he groped her. Touched her on her chest, grabbed her boobs, trying to kiss her. I don't know how you... Yeah, that's how you kiss somebody. And I'm like, oh, okay, so... so I had to ask a couple questions, and she goes, no, I'm wearing this, and I think it was like a late fall to where it's fairly chilly in Berlin, late fall. So she's wearing like a sweater, and then I think she had like a leather jacket on over that. And then I said, okay. And I said, what happened after that? She goes, well, I punched him out. I go, what? She goes, I punched him out. And I'm like, oh, okay. So did you call the police? She goes, no. I came over here to report this. I said, you really punched him out? She goes, oh, yeah, he must have had a lot to drink because it was just one punch and he collapsed onto the floor. His buddy was panicking. I was panicking, but she said, I decided to come over here and report this. So, I'm trying to sum this all up. And I said, did you get the guy's name? So that way at least we got, in case his command calls our command in a couple days or two, one of your female soldiers punched out one of our, whatever rank he was. She didn't even know his rank. She just knew him by a name, I think. I don't even know if she got his name or not. But now Sergeant Lee is shapely. And she's not beefy, she's not muscular. I mean, yeah, she does PT like everybody else, but as far as her lifting weights and doing anything special like that to build up her upper body torso is beyond me. But you always see it in the movies, that glass head, that glass jaw, like one punch and the guy's down for the count. Obviously, when this guy drank, that's how he was. So I'm writing this report, and by the time we're getting done with the report, the sergeant in charge has come back by this time. And, of course, you get in the tail end of a story, but when the punchline is at the tail end of the story where she punched the guy out with one clobbering, so to speak, I mean, he's laughing, I'm laughing, she's laughing. She goes, this isn't that funny. I said, the situation is, but, we will make sure we get this written up properly. I think it took like a page and a half of, what was that? God, I can't remember the the DA slip that we did for charge quarters to record everything, but it took me like a page and a half because, like I said, I summarized her story rather than, excuse me, trying to write each and everything down. So, out of all the times that I did see Q, I will not have another bizarre story. I don't know if I'm going to tell that one or not, but I had a bizarre story that happened to me in Hawaii when I was a sergeant, and I was the sergeant in charge for the charge of quarters. But I just reflected on the story this past week, you know, because I'm sitting there thinking of what to say on these, and just a funny story. I mean, she punched a guy out who had obviously too much liquor and one of those glass jaws, glass heads that, you know, you see in the movie, you know, oh, let's knock this guy out. And, you know, they break the bottle over his head. You know, it's a good thing they got that candy glass for bottles, because I've been clobbered with a real bottle. It didn't break, but it sure hurt like heck. And it was a mistake that somebody did to me. They didn't think they hit me that hard. Bottles hurt. So maybe if you do actually break a real bottle over someone's head, they probably will pass out. But so that's all I got for today. Sergeant K having inappropriate action done to her and took immediate reaction by punching a drunken soldier out. So this is Chief out. Remember, freedom's not free. And have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed the story.